In the year 2015, I remember seeing Golden Frieza, and then sometime later we were introduced to Black Frieza. Personally, I think that both these forms are an eyesore, completely uncalled for. If Frieza was so strong, then why do we need to show it with map colors? In contrast, I did understand the need for Mecha Frieza, 100% Frieza, and my personal favorite, which is Metacooler. I want to explain why I didn't just contradict myself there. We may see the Z fighters reach new heights in the future. We really don't need any new forms, particularly in Dragon Ball Super, because seeing these map colors is doing the story a disservice. Now, what we really want to see is growth from a standpoint of strength. And that's what the Super Saiyan form was, ignoring the hair. It was a final push to overcome an individual in Frieza who remained unchallenged for so long. It was symbolic that these two had pushed each other so hard, and Frieza's unredeemable qualities required something different from Goku, something we never saw, something that nobody could teach him. It would ultimately have to come from inside him, and it did. Super Saiyan is a transformation that takes place because of the immense power of the Saiyan. Goku's rage would kick him into the next level. And remember what made Vegeta's transformation to Super Saiyan so amazing? It was that it did not come from being pushed by an enemy. It came from him realizing during training that he was indeed strong, but him coveting the next level was holding him back, and he needed to let go. The Super Saiyan form had actually been lost to the Saiyan race at some point, and prior to their destruction, many of them didn't even believe it to exist. Growth is something that resonates, but does it have to happen rapidly? Ichigo Kurosaki was able to manifest his Bankai in 2.5 days. This is a skill that usually takes 10 years to master. Itachi Uchiha graduates from the Ninja Academy at the age of 7. Genkai fast-paced Yusuke Urameshi's Spirit Wave by transferring her own energy, skipping a lot of rigorous training. And Light Yagami practices attrition, with one death note resulting in the death of 135,000 people, utilizing the notebook at an alarming rate. Luffy and the Straw Hats were fledgling and managed to take down 2 warlords, and I would cap this off with Goten and Trunks achieving their own Super Saiyan form at 7 and 8 years old. Now, growth doesn't have a color, and it really may not happen at the time you need it to, which is what I find so irritating when think about all these new power-ups that we have now. You'd like to think that you would overcome anything when the pressure is on, but some of us simply break. When Luffy runs into Big Mom on Whole Cake Island, he may think he can handle it, but the rest of us know that he's simply not ready to deal with an Emperor of the Sea yet. Now imagine if Nappa came to Earth first instead of Raditz. What would Goku and Piccolo do then? These are the issues that we deal with in everyday life. Some of us can't live with our parents. We have no choice but to go into a situation whether we're ready or not. That's why I hate Gear 5, and if you ever want me to talk about it, I'll do it another time. I harken back to Jiren. Jiren doesn't have a special look for his power, but we know that he was in a situation where he just underwent a lot of growth. Now, why on earth he seems to be on par with deities makes you take a step back. I mean, it's almost like he's Kratos. And the way Kratos got his power was a sissy move. Should have just accepted his death like a real man. But then again, maybe Goku and Vegeta have undergone so many changes that things seem watered down. And it looks like our good old legendary Super Saiyan Broly, who was born with a high power level as a birth defect, is on the team, so things are going to get even more hairy. The Ultra Instinct power was revisited because it's separated from consciousness. And that also means that it's separated from mortality, which is really going to cause issues when you are rereading and rewatching, because then ostensibly He should not feel pain from attacks, he should not feel fear from others' attacks, and he should not be able to feel himself die. I researched this and I wanted it to make sense, but in later chapters it's revealed that Goku is going to have to tweak Ultra Instinct a bit because he's a Saiyan, so he can't use Ultra Instinct like Whis can. Same with Vegeta's Ultra Ego. Vegeta seems to be able to harness the power of it, but how on earth is it beneficial for him if his power really does increase while he is taking damage? That's really something that makes no sense. Contrast this with Super Vegeta, which came after a year of training. The change wasn't sustainably noticeable until we saw Vegeta in battle. Come to find out now that maybe his training probably should have been more agility and speed based. In reality, Super Vegeta was just powerful. And you see that illustrated in the Ki Blast and the volleys he performed. The final flash attack could have easily been dodged, and if your opponent's power level just so happened to be higher, then it really would not matter how many Ki Blasts you hit him with. Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta was much more fearsome. You could tell this was Vegeta in his best shape. He seems noticeably slower in Dragon Ball GT, but he seemed to outclass everyone, especially when he became Majin Vegeta, which really just amplified the work he'd already put in. This is what we're getting with these new transformations, but it doesn't feel the same. It's as if we're really missing the mark somehow. I don't want something that necessarily will go with the grand finale because that's just not realistic. Broaching the Gogeta and Vegito subject, the situational desperation has always felt good, so I've never felt like it's unnecessary when I see any of these fusions. Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta would probably never finish a battle because he's simply way too powerful and it obviously went to his head, whereas Frieza, it seems, can just leapfrog everybody if he puts his mind to it. And because he's surpassed the Super Saiyan and Super Saiyan God multipliers, it's quite perplexing why he was so terrified of the Saiyan race if he could just train for months and retain his supremacy. Not sure that a lot of thought was put into that, as well as Beerus giving the order because allegedly the Saiyans never showed him respect, although he definitely bullied them like he bullied everyone else. In short, I guess you could say I'm looking for something more organic, and these transformations seem to be a dime a dozen these days. I'm hoping that solo leveling can offer a different perspective, whereas maybe growth in the sense of leveling up may turn into something that is not advantageous, or maybe things will go in a different direction. But what do you think about character growth through transformations? There have been some that are certainly excellent, but maybe if you, like me, have seen too much of it, and if you like these types of rants, please subscribe, and we'll do it again soon.
My bones are... my bones.